Morning. Welcome to our sermon this morning. I'm just going to press play on the audio record so that those phoning in to hear the talk this morning will have that. So good morning. We're going to do something slightly different this morning. So I'm going to give you a moment now to go and grab whatever you want that kind of speaks to you creatively. So for me, I've got a piece of paper and a pen and a pencil, because one of the ways in which we engage with scripture, and which we're invited to engage with scripture in the worship at home liturgy that we're using, is to do something creative in response to the text that will work for some of you and not work for others of you, but we're going to give that a go this morning. So can I invite you to go and grab a piece of paper or whatever works for you in that creative way. I think it suggests in the worship at home liturgy, let me just see, it says paper and pens, modelling clay or dough, Play-Doh, that kind of thing, Lego or pipe cleaners, whatever you have to hand that you could use to help you think through this story. So I'm going to give you a minute now to go and do that, and then we'll begin. Okay. So let me read our reading for this morning. The reading is from Matthew chapter 10, verses 40 to 42. Whoever welcomes you welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. Whoever welcomes a prophet in the name of a prophet will receive a prophet's reward, and whoever welcomes a righteous person in the name of a righteous person will receive the reward of the righteous. And whoever gives even a cup of cold water to one of these little ones in the name of a disciple, truly I tell you, none of these will lose their reward. So I guess the idea is that whatever images or ideas have resonated with you in that text, that you put it into a creative space. So I'm going to begin with mine by kind of writing on the piece of paper the particular things that resonated for me. And what that was this idea of even a cup of cold water. Even a cup of cold water. So this is Matthew 10, verses 40 to 42. So I'm just writing the verse here. 40 to 42. And then I'm going to write that bit which jumped out at me. Even a cup of cold water. Even a cup of cold water. I wonder what particularly jumped out at you from the passage. I guess, and this is going to sort of go into the thing that I draw, which is in my mind. I guess this idea of a cup of cold water resonated with me because culturally, as a Brit, this week maybe we'd have offered cups of cold water to each other, and it's still hot now, even though it's sort of rainy and cloudy outside, but it's been really hot. Maybe we would have offered a cup of cold water. But for me, it resonated with the idea that actually as a kindness, in our setting, in our country, then a cup of tea symbolises the sort of absolute kindness of offering something to someone who needs it, whether that's an emotional need or a physical need. We have a sort of sense that offering a cup of tea gives people what they need, and it's more than the sum of its parts. It's more than the sum of its parts. So I guess for me, this kind of simple offering said something to me about who God is and who we're called to be in our lives with God. So this offering, and I'm going to draw underneath it just a simple kind of hand type thing. This isn't an artist's rendering, it's just what's coming from my sort of small abilities to draw anything, but that there's an offering here. So I wonder what you will be shaping or drawing with the things that you have brought to the table this morning. And now what I'm going to do is to kind of embellish the drawing for me with sort of flowers and things around it, because what it reminded me of was that this is a beautiful thing, to offer this cup of cold water, or in my drawing a cup of tea to somebody who needs it. And that this is what God is like, that these things are beautiful ways in which our faith can express themselves, and they're very simple. And particularly, I guess, in our time of lockdown, these simple ways have become really precious, because they haven't necessarily been ways in which we have been able to offer these things to one another. In the same way as we might have been able to do, tea in the afternoon, or in your homes, in the way that you would have done that before. So I guess I just want to remember from this passage the beauty of the simple thing, and it reminds me of the story about the woman who smashes the jar with all the perfume, and how Jesus says that she has done a beautiful thing. I guess for her that wasn't, well, it was simple, but it still cost a lot for her. And of course people didn't like her doing it because of all those things. But Jesus says that she did what she could, which I think is a lovely way of putting it. She did what she could, and it was a beautiful thing, and that she will be remembered as we remember her. Even as I kind of draw this this cup of tea and make it beautiful in a different way than we maybe expect cups of teas to be beautiful, yeah, I'm reminded that God sees those offerings for the heartfelt thing that they are. So I wonder at what point we will be able to share cups of water and cups of tea with one another. It's something that maybe we miss, not just on a physical level, but we recognize that there's something divine in these sharings, in these offerings. And so when we miss them, what we're missing is something more than we have realized. And so finding ways to offer those things even in our socially distanced, regulated ways might be a way forward in offering the beautiful thing to one another again. So this is my contribution this morning to the text, the offering of the beautiful thing to God. Even a cup of cold water or a cup of hot tea. Let me read this again. Whoever welcomes you welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. Whoever welcomes a prophet in the name of a prophet will receive a prophet's reward. And whoever welcomes a righteous person in the name of a righteous person will receive the reward of the righteous. And whoever gives even a cup of cold water to one of these little ones in the name of a disciple, truly I tell you, none of these will lose their reward. Thank you for joining me this morning.